Welcome to AT&T Stadium here in Dallas. It's the Redskins and Cowboys wrapping up the regular season. Welcome to Game Time Live. Larry Michael with Andrew Walker. Great to be with you on the sidelines here prior to this football game. 112th meeting between these two teams. And the big question all week, Andrew, has been what will the Redskins do in this game, considering the desire to keep the momentum going, but also trying to protect some of their players from injury with the playoffs on the horizon. I don't think we have the inactives yet, but I think the speculation is running rampant who's going to play and who's not going to play here today.
Right. You talk about two good problems to have. By clinching the division in Week 16, you get the luxury of choosing who plays in this game. You also get the luxury of choosing between the three teams, the Vikings, Packers, and Seahawks. You have to start a little, scouting ahead of time. Two very good problems to have. Obviously, very good to wrap up, that division title already and just go in today and have fun. And you still play for something, but you give your second and third stringers something to play for as well.
Hope to get the inactives while we're on the air with this edition of Game Time Live. Again, a lot of speculation. Got a couple of injured Redskins who will not play. Dunbar won't play. Neither will Goldson. Has that cracked rib that he's going to take this week off, try to heal up. We know by watching practice that Trent Williams really didn't do much this week in practice. Jason Hatcher took some time off this week as well. We're going to give you those inactives in a second. But another thing to balance out here are some records that the Redskins could set. And you heard what Jay Gruden had to say. He is aware of this, and he'd like to see them get those records, but not at the expense of the team.
Right. So Kirk is, 120 yards away from the single-season Redskins passing yards record. Jordan Reed, one catch away from the tight ends reception record, and I think two receiving touchdowns away from just the receiving touchdown record in a single season. Kirk's 10 yards away from 4,000. I mean, there's a lot of these on the line, and as Kirk said earlier last week, he said these are team awards, so it's not just me breaking a record. This is something that we take a lot of pride in. But you're right, they got to be careful. Do you play a quarter? Do you play a half? You play long enough, I think, to get a good grip on the game, get your momentum going like we've had the last few weeks, and then get them out so that they don't get hurt.
We're going to step aside this way and let Daryl take a shot at some of the Redskins warming up here indoors. Dallas temperatures outside, kind of cold for these parts, but the Redskins warming up, and I would say that this is a group of guys that's going to play. You see Kirk Cousins in the middle of that group. And you have Colt McCoy. Last time these two teams faced each other here was the last time Colt McCoy played. He played pretty good, won the ball game for the Redskins. And there's Corey Lichtensteiger in the middle of the group next to Ryan Kerrigan. So we're going to take a look at the inactives when we get them. But Kirk Cousins, man, what a finish to the season. There probably isn't a hotter quarterback in the league right now other than Kirk Cousins.
Right. Him and Russell Wilson are kind of battling out for hottest quarterback, and that's what you need heading into the playoffs is you need your quarterback hot, you need your team hot, and it's no mistake that the Redskins aren't turning over the ball. They're doing great on offense, and thus their team's doing a lot better. So that goes a lot of credit to Kirk, a lot of credit to the coaching staff, opening things up. Deshaun Jackson's back. He's himself such a threat. Jordan Reed's just emerged as probably the best pass-catching tight end in the league with Rob Gronkowski. So really a lot of things opening up for this Redskins offense at the right time.
Right in front of us, Preston Smith, who earlier this week was named the Rookie of the Week by virtue of those 3 sacks he had last week against Philadelphia. And, I think this team has had a workmanlike approach over the last 6-7 weeks of the year. I really believe that the attitude at Redskins Park this week was just what you wanted. A lot of guys talking about the need to beat the Cowboys, arch rival, need to give them payback for the game they won, and the need to keep this thing rolling along with some good momentum. Now, how would you characterize the attitude of the team this week, having known they clinched the playoffs but have a game here to play today?
Right. Well, here's the overall theme. 9-7 sounds a lot better than 8-8. Being 4-2 in your division is really good. And also, Redskins, let's just face it, they didn't play their best in that Monday Night Football matchup against the Cowboys. Cowboys came out and played very well. Let's give them credit. But, the Redskins weren't playing like they were capable of, and then began to play like they were capable of the next couple of weeks. So they want to come out here and play for pride in the season on a good note, continue the momentum like we said right into the playoffs, which is either Saturday or Sunday, and against 3 really good teams in the NFC. So yeah, you want to continue that momentum. But yeah, they've had a great mindset. The Eagles were a bunch of talkers. The Redskins didn't buy into it. They just kept their head down, played hard, backed up their talk on the field. And Preston Smith, that's what we have right here, really had a breakout game, showed what he's capable of.
You're watching Game Time Live. Larry Michael, Andrew Walker at AT&T Stadium here as the Cowboys and Redskins tee it up at 12 Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. Kirk Cousins warming up in the center of the field. And we'll take a look at Kirk here now and how many records has he broken this year. He's not going to get the touchdown record, even though he can tie Joe Theismann, who is here today with 2 touchdown passes. Actually, he needs 3 to tie Joe Theismann, 2 for third place. Sonny Jurgensen with 31 touchdown passes leads the way for the Redskins. Also, Kirk could be the first Redskins quarterback in history to throw a touchdown pass in 16 straight games, all in the same season, since the 16-game schedule was implemented in 1978. And he's got, obviously, Sonny Jurgensen ahead of him in 23 straight games with a touchdown pass. Kirk Cousins exceeded expectations dating back to that preseason game against Detroit, that ill-fated game when RG3 got knocked out. Kirk Cousins got the job, and he has not given it up. And Andrew does have the inactives. You hear him here first on Redskins Game Time Live. Who is on that list of inactives, sir?
So we've got Robert Griffin III, Matt Jones, Deshaun Goldson, Quentin Dunbar, Perry Riley Jr., Trent Williams, and Jason Hatcher. So not a lot of surprises if you're kind of paying attention this week, knowing who is in and out of practice, who's battling through some injuries. Just want to get healthy, get everybody fresh and healthy for the playoffs.
You can take a look for yourself at the Redskins roster, and as Jay Gruden reminded us, you got to field the team. This isn't preseason when you have 90 guys or 75 guys on the roster, and you can afford to sit 22 players. You can't afford to do that here today. So you're going to see some of the backups, you'll see some of the starters, and you'll see a hodgepodge of a team here. But to win this game would mean a lot for the team. 9-7, as he said, as Andrew said, sounds a lot better than 8-8. And winning the last 4 games of the season, winning that fourth quarter of the season, and winning on the road, which has been hard for the Redskins to accomplish. I think they've got that monkey off their back now. But a lot still on their line here today.
Yeah, tons on the line, pride. You want to be, you're already the best in your division, but you want to have that really solid division record. Cowboys, you want to beat them in their place. I think I saw Alabama has more wins here than the Dallas Cowboys this year, which is sad, but funny. So if you're a Redskins fan, you look at that and you kind of laugh, but you don't want to come away here with a loss. You want to keep the momentum going into the postseason, because they're one of the hottest teams in the NFL right now, and it's a good mark to have, as we see the teams with the best momentum typically do pretty well in the postseason.
And again, Andrew mentioned it earlier, who the Redskins will play in the playoffs will be determined tonight, and you can look it up yourself. Pretty simple situation. It's either going to be Minnesota, Green Bay, or Seattle. We do not yet know the day or time of that game. There are 4 windows, 4 games in the opening round. January 9th at 4:30 and at 8. Actually, it's at 4 and 8. And then January 10th at 1 and 4:30. So kind of a typical Sunday kickoff times. With Saturday, you'd have a night game at 8 o'clock if you were to get that slot. Andrew, give us a little more detail on those scenarios. I know the fans would love to hear it. They've been hearing it all week, but sometimes it's hard to stick because these possibilities are not that many, but it's a little complicated.
Yeah, so Sunday Night Football tonight, the Vikings and the Packers are playing out for that North Division title. So, Larry, I wrote it out. I have it ready to go for after the game. Is that if the Vikings win, they obviously win the North, so the Packers would play the Redskins. And
that's cut and dry.
And then that's cut and dry. The Seahawks take on the Cardinals at 4:25 Eastern time today. There's a lot of things that have to happen for them to get the 5 seed, but it seems as though the easiest one is, if everyone's going to have their eyes on tonight's Sunday Night Football game with the Packers and the Vikings.
Minnesota wins, the Redskins take on Green Bay. Minnesota wins. If Green Bay wins, which they're playing at home, and Arizona wins, they're playing at home against Seattle, the Redskins would host Minnesota. And with a Minnesota win and a Seattle win, I think it's Seattle coming to FedEx Field. I think that's right.
Yeah, so, we all know the history of Seattle recently coming to FedEx Field for the playoffs. There's another monkey to get off the back, even though, a few players from that 2012 team, as Trent Williams runs by, but a few players from that 2012 team want to avenge that, because Seattle then went on a run that next year and the year after, obviously win the Super Bowl and almost win the Super Bowl. The Redskins would like to do something, be on a similar path and do the same to the Seahawks this year if they play them.
You're watching Gametime Live on Redskins.com. Larry Michael, Andrew Walker. Don't forget the radio broadcast coming up on ESPN 980. Check out the ESPN 980 app wherever you may be, or check the game on ESPN980.com. The live radio broadcast, yours truly, Sonny Jurgensen, Chris Cooley, and Rick Doc Walker. Now, you got your 5 takeaways for the game. What are they, my friend?
Sure, we've already harped on this one. Stay healthy. I mean, it's simple. You got to stay healthy, keep the momentum going, but you got to stay healthy. Offensive rhythm, it's kind of along the same lines. If Kirk Cousins goes out and Colt McCoy goes in, you have to keep that same rhythm going. There's going to be some guys, Rashad Ross, Ryan Grant, Jameson Crowder, that are going to get some opportunities. They've had some good opportunities throughout the year, but they're going to be the guys instead of a Deshaun Jackson or a Pierre Garçon. Some more pressure. Kellen Moore's at quarterback for the Cowboys. He hasn't really done too well the last couple weeks, but which Cowboys quarterback has done well this year outside Tony Romo when he isn't hurting his clavicle? So you really have to put pressure on Kellen Moore. He obviously had a great career at Boise State.
This ain't Boise State.
Yeah, what?
This ain't Boise State.
No, it's not. We don't have blue turf here. So, Deron Johnson, his former teammate, going to look to pick him off a couple times. And then McCoy repeat. We talked about that. Colt McCoy did such a good job last year on that great Monday Night Football game. Really gave Redskins fans something to cheer about in a season that wasn't so great. And I think he was 25 of 30, had a rushing touchdown. He was clutch in overtime, getting some really on-target passes so that Kai Forbath could kick the eventual game winner. So look for Colt McCoy to really take advantage of this because, hey, this is a tryout for him too. He likes it here. Who knows what he'll put on tape? And as we've learned this year around the league, good backup quarterbacks are hard to come by.
Ain't that the truth? All right, Andrew Walker, tell us about your crew, what you got on the agenda today from Redskins.com and the Redskins social crew.
So we hope you've really been enjoying our behind-the-scenes access, raw and real, as Larry likes to put it. But so Redskins Snap on Snapchat, all kinds of stuff before, during, and after the game. Yeah, follow the whole story of the game there. Of course, at Redskins on Twitter, Facebook.com/Redskins, and then Instagram at Redskins. Got all kinds of stuff. Garrett, our photographer, does a great job. Zarda Vision on the field, Jake Kring-Schreifels on the blog, and Brian Van Balen on the social.
There's the Redskins offensive line walking by right in front of us. That's a good group of guys. Thank you to Andrew Walker. Our take on this game, obviously more of the same. Try to stay healthy. Don't get anybody injured. See if you can win the ball game. A win here would be sweet. Keep that momentum going. It is important to win this game, regardless of what people say, that there's nothing on the line here. You're looking at a 9-7 record, and you're looking at a huge improvement over last year. Yes, the playoffs are a week away. You want to keep everybody healthy, but that victory could keep that good vibe, that good momentum going into next week if they can find a way to do it. And the Cowboys, looking at what they've got to play for, they haven't won a lot of ball games here, as Andrew said. They've only won 4 games all year, 4-11 for the Cowboys. Huge disappointing year for them. And so they'd like nothing better than to sweep the Redskins in this series this year here at 1 o'clock at AT&T Stadium. Want to thank our crew. Want to thank you for watching. Don't forget the Monday Morning Quarterback Show, the Monday Morning Redskins Roundup coming up. Final edition on Comcast Sportsnet CSN on Monday morning at 11 a.m. That's featuring Clinton Portis and Chris Cooley. And the Inside the Redskins show is going to be extended yet another week on NBC4. You can see that Saturday at 9:30 and the Coaches Show at 7, except if the Redskins are playing on Saturday, and that Coaches Show will be seen at 12 noon. You can get the update at Redskins.com on Monday. Once again, thank you for watching. Enjoy the game from Texas. And you know what? I'm predicting the Redskins are going to win this game by 2 touchdowns. What's your prediction, real quick?
I think the Redskins keep rolling in that first half, and Colt McCoy keeps it going. I think the defense gets to Kellen Moore, who won't do anything again.
Yeah, 1 touchdown, 4 interceptions for Moore last week. Again, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you later.